in the magnificent forest of the northern Adirondacks is a place that is in as perfect harmony with its surroundings today as it was when it was built over 100 years ago. White Pine Camp sits on a peninsula of lush wooded forest that reaches out into Osgood Pond, a short 20-minute drive from the village of Saranac Lake. Once on the verge of ruin, White Pine Camp survives today through faithful reconstruction and is open to the public for accommodations and historical tours. History that includes a summer stay by President Coolidge and his wife, a nice, long, relaxing stay, with the country being run from this cottage for most of the summer of 1926, earning White Pine Camp the nickname the Summer White House. It's a nickname that still sticks to this day. Archibald White, a wealthy businessman, built White Pine Camp on 35 acres of Adirondack wilderness in 1907. The camp was later owned by the daughters of Sears and Roebuck chairman Julius Rosenwald. Eventually, they gave the camp to nearby Paul Smith's College, which used it for student housing for 35 years. But in the mid-1970s, the college closed the camp, citing the Arab oil embargo and the rising price of heating oil for the poorly insulated cabins. White Pine Camp sat empty as the lack of maintenance, squatters, pilferers, and the harsh Adirondack winters began to take their toll. Eventually, the camp was purchased by a group calling themselves the White Pine Camp Associates. That was back in 1993. With Howard Kirschenbaum and like-minded friends thinking they could flip the camp for a quick sale. Howie's fondness for the place soon changed his mind, however. He didn't want to sell it anymore. He wanted to keep it, and to keep restoring. Howie and his associates were onto something very special, and they knew it. Howie, the architecture here is not exactly the kind of architecture that you would think of when you're talking about a great camp. What am I looking at here?
Well, it has many of the features of the traditional, like the log posts and beams on the porch.
Right.
But it has a pre-modern architectural style that still fits in the Adirondacks. These soaring roof lines that seem to come up out of the ground and soar into the sky.
Like the mountains.
That's right. That corner triangular window, a clear-story window that shines light into the dining room.
Okay.
The asymmetrical floor plan. Over the kitchen, those double windows
stacked on top of each other there, yeah.
Right, right. And the brainstorm siding that's characteristic of the Adirondacks, but was invented here at White Pine Camp.
Really?
Yes.
One by one, each cabin was carefully restored. Fireplaces were repaired or even added. Dozens of windows and doors were replaced. Roofs were repaired and reshingled. Even the little surprises of the camp got some much-needed attention. Now, one of the great things about coming to a great camp in the summer, especially if you lived in one of the big cities in the east, was to get away from the heat, the stifling humidity, and the bad air of the cities. And once up here, you had hiking, and you had canoeing, and you had the peace and quiet of the wilderness. But for some people, they didn't want to leave it all behind. They wanted to bring their backhands with them, like that. And here at White Pine Camp, they could do it on 6 inches of English clay. That's right, English clay from England. And after the tennis match, you can relax in this lovely tennis house and enjoy an adult beverage. I mean, you are in the wilderness at White Pine Camp, but it doesn't mean you have to be without your creature comforts. There are boathouses on the lakefront with canoes and kayaks for the guests, and a great big pond, Osgood Pond, to swim, paddle, or fish in, and a ramshackle bowling alley for some rainy day fun. Strike! No trick photography, I assure you. Just a lot of luck and a lot of gravity. And a Japanese tea house for a little meditation. Whether you're looking for that perfect place to finish that, great big book of books that you've been meaning to read for the last 3 or 4 vacations, or a place where you can go on a nice long slide through a snowy wilderness forest, White Pine Camp is a perfect place to come watch nature do its best work all year long, from your porch or from your canoe. White Pine Camp is open to everyone by reservation all year long. So I hope to see you here, because I know I'm coming back. Just like I know that loon is coming back. For people near here on Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Derek Muirden at White Pine Camp in the northern Adirondacks.
People Near Here on Mountain Lake PBS is supported by Valcour Brewing Company.